On October 1st, 2025, the Guard family's world changed forever in the quiet farmlands of Putnam County, Indiana. What began as an ordinary autumn evening would soon unravel into a mystery that would haunt the entire community. Brittany Guard, a 46-year-old mother, vanished from her home after a sudden fire broke out, sending flames and smoke billowing into the night sky. The blaze left the house scarred and silent, but the true shock was yet to come. Her teenage daughter returned from a volleyball game, expecting a normal night, only to find emergency lights flashing and chaos unfolding. Her mother was nowhere to be found. Firefighters battled the flames and searched the charred remains, but there was no sign of Brittany anywhere inside the house. The absence was chilling. Even more unsettling, her purse and ID were left behind, untouched on the table, as if she had simply vanished into thin air. Investigators quickly labeled the fire suspicious, noting several inconsistencies at the scene that didn't add up. The circumstances pointed to something far more troubling than an accident. There were questions no one could yet answer. The Putnam County Sheriff's Office immediately launched a missing person investigation, mobilizing deputies and volunteers. News of Brittany's disappearance spread rapidly, shaking the small, close-knit community to its core. Rumors and fears grew with every passing hour. Her family was left reeling, desperate for answers, clinging to hope as they tried to make sense of the nightmare unfolding around them. The questions were immediate and overwhelming. Why the fire? Where was Brittany? Was she safe, or had something terrible happened? As night fell, the search for Brittany Guard began in earnest, with neighbors and strangers alike combing the woods and fields, refusing to give up. The community braced itself for a long, uncertain ordeal, united by fear and hope as they faced the unknown together. A mother was missing, her home left in ruins, and hope was all anyone had to hold on to as the days stretched on. The search for answers had just begun, and the mystery of Brittany Guard's disappearance was only deepening. Authorities wasted no time, launching a massive search across farmland, woods, and ponds. The scale of the operation was unlike anything the small community had ever seen, with flashing lights and search teams fanning out in every direction. Helicopters circled overhead, and the hum of engines filled the air as the first hours ticked by. Deputies, state police, and conservation officers scoured the area, methodically covering every inch. They moved in tight formations, searching under fallen logs, peering into abandoned sheds, and wading through chilly ponds, determined not to overlook a single clue. Brittany's 4 sisters rushed to Indiana, organizing their own search parties and distributing flyers. They mapped out routes, coordinated with volunteers, and made sure every corner of the county was covered. Volunteers joined, calling Brittany's name through the fields and forests. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers from nearby towns came together, united by a single hope: to bring Brittany home. Days passed with no sign of her. The landscape, once full of promise, now felt vast and empty, echoing the growing sense of worry. The official search and the family's efforts yielded nothing. Each night, searchers returned exhausted, but no one was ready to give up. The community's hope began to waver, but no one gave up. Prayers were whispered, and vigils were held, as everyone clung to the possibility of a miracle. The weather turned colder, adding urgency to the search. Chilled winds and gray skies made the days feel even longer, but the searchers pressed on. Each day without answers deepened the family's anguish. The waiting, the uncertainty, and the fear weighed heavily on everyone's hearts. Still, they pressed on, refusing to let hope fade. Every morning brought renewed determination, and every evening a promise to try again. The search for Brittany became a test of endurance and faith, a testament to the strength of a community unwilling to let go. 1 week after Brittany vanished, hope returned to the small town of rural Indiana, but not in the way anyone expected. It arrived in the most unexpected way: a phone call that would change everything. On October 8th, a faint trembling voice called 911. It was Brittany Guard. Her words, barely audible, but unmistakable. She explained she was lost and disoriented in Hall Woods Nature Preserve, just a few miles from her home, but completely alone and unsure of her surroundings. Dispatchers kept her on the line, their voices calm and reassuring, working urgently to pinpoint her location using every tool at their disposal. Search teams mobilized instantly, racing against the setting sun, grabbing gear and heading for the woods without hesitation. Deputies, conservation officers, and firefighters converged on the preserve, determined to bring Brittany home safely. Guided by her phone signal, they plunged into the dense woods, calling out her name and searching every shadowy corner. For her family, the call was nothing short of a miracle after days of agonizing silence and uncertainty. The searchers pressed on, voices echoing through the underbrush, refusing to give up as they pushed deeper into the forest. Every second mattered as daylight faded, the urgency growing with each passing minute. The entire community held its breath, neighbors gathering and waiting for any scrap of news, united in hope and fear. The desperate search was about to reach its climax, as rescuers closed in on the signal's location. Brittany's voice, fragile but determined, had brought hope back from the brink and set in motion a rescue that would touch the entire town. Rescuers soon made contact. Brittany was alive, weak but conscious. After 7 days alone in the wilderness, she was finally found. Emergency teams stabilized her and carried her out of the woods. An ambulance rushed her to the hospital for treatment. Relief swept through her family and the entire community. Details of her ordeal and condition remained private. The rescue was a testament to teamwork and determination. Dispatchers, deputies, and firefighters all played vital roles. The nightmare was over. Brittany Gard was safe. The community celebrated a rare happy ending. For her loved ones, it was a moment of pure gratitude. But the story was far from over. Brittany's rescue brought relief, but the mystery deepened. How did she end up in the woods? What caused the fire? Investigators continued their work, piecing together the timeline. Authorities assured the public there was no ongoing threat. No suspects were being sought, raising more questions than answers. Details of Brittany's account and her condition remained confidential. The community waited anxiously for clarity. The case became a story of survival, hope, and unanswered questions. As Brittany recovered, the search for truth continued. The full story of that harrowing week remains to be told.